This is the Hati Ace Wireless, a G Pro Superlight Clone at a much lower price point that can drag click and double click.
He's Eric and I'm Devin, and in this video we'll be going over the shape, specs, and other features of this mouse to see if it's worth checking out for Minecraft.
The Hati Wireless is a medium-sized symmetrical mouse with side buttons on the left only. It's 124mm in length, 64mm in total width, around 58mm at the grip, and 40mm in height. It uses the 3370 sensor, which is one of the top optical sensors on the market, so no worries there. While it is advertised at 63 grams, on my scale it weighs more like 65. This puts it in line with other wireless mice with holes, such as the glorious wireless mice. While 65 grams is a good weight, I would have liked to see lower for a mouse that has holes all over it, and no RGB. With mice like the Katana Superlight reaching 60 grams with no holes at all, it's just a bit disappointing that G-Wolves can't keep up.
The wireless connection on this mouse is perfect. I've had no issues with the signal cutting out or any other issues with the connection. Well, that is when the mouse isn't dead. The battery life on this mouse isn't great. It feels like I'm always having to charge it. Based on our testing, it has about 40 hours of battery life when being used. However, what contributes to always needing to charge it is its shoddy implementation of sleep mode. Unlike most mice where you can leave it on and the battery will barely go down, this mouse drains a ton of battery when it's left on but not being used. Not sure if it's a defective unit or just a poor implementation of sleep mode, but I need to remember to turn it off after using it, which is a mild inconvenience. The charging cable on this mouse is decent. It's somewhat flexible and works to game with it in a pinch. However, it is micro USB, but the port is so deep on the mouse that bending the micro USB isn't a real concern when using it. So the fact that it's not using a more robust USB-C connection isn't as big of a deal as it could be if the port was more exposed.
The shape of the Hati is directly inspired by that of the G Pro Wireless and G Pro X Superlight. However, the sides do have a bit more of an aggressive inward taper than the G Pro, which makes it a bit less safe in my opinion. It has a high enough hump for palm support, but taper enough that it won't get too in the way of vertical adjustments. The buttons have subtle comfort curves which do work well for where I place my fingers. Ultimately, I think this is a good shape. It is most suited for claw grip, but it doesn't tailor to any specific grip, as well as some other shapes. I think it works best for small to medium hand palm grippers, medium to large hand claw grippers, and medium to large hand fingertip grippers.
I like the shape of this mouse. From palm grip to claw to fingertip, everything just kind of feels comfortable to me on the Hati. I wouldn't say this mouse feels the most comfortable for any one of those grips, but it does do them all very, very well. As someone who likes to switch in between claw and palm while playing, I really appreciate the versatility of this mouse. My only complaint with the shape is that the hump feels a bit narrow, and if at the top it was a bit wider, it would be a bit more comfortable to palm. However, that really good shape is hurt by poor build quality. There is a bit of side flex, however, that really hasn't been an issue for me when actually using it. There's also some minor shell separation leading to some top shell wobble. Also, the almost paper thin bottom plate creates a ton of bottom flex on this mouse too. On top of all of that, the implementation of the clicks aren't great either.
Although G-Wolves previously used the KLA.0 switches on the Hati, the main buttons in our unit use Omron 20M switches. Omrons are some of the most common switches and are used in Logitech mice, however they are notorious for their poor durability. The buttons are very light and spammable, but don't offer the best tactile feel. They also exhibit quite a bit of post-travel, which gives the clicks somewhat of a mushy bottom out. I call these pretty average clicks, similar to an old model of wireless, but not as light as those on Logitech mice. Future batches of the Hati wireless will use Squano switches, which would be a big improvement in my opinion, though it won't remedy the issues with travel.
The side buttons on this mouse are inexcusably atrocious. They are so bad that I think I would even still be angry about them if this mouse was only $50. There is absolutely no place for these on a $100 mouse. They have a ton of mushy post travel, making them uncomfortable and harder to click multiple times quickly. Since I use side buttons to hotkey, it's sometimes difficult for me to switch back and forth between items because there is so much post travel on these that I sometimes don't fully unpress the button before trying to click it again. Also, the buttons seem to have some sort of suspension system attaching them to the mouse rather than being actually attached. You can push them in literally any direction. It's not just normal button wobble, but it's that on top of them just moving anywhere. It's extremely uncomfortable and makes the mouse feel super cheap.
The scroll wheel on this mouse has somewhat defined steps that are pretty silent. The scroll click is a bit stiff, but is perfectly usable in game. All in all, this is a pretty decent scroll wheel. Here's the sound test of all the buttons. The feet on this mouse are 100% PTFE, and there are extras in the box. They have a lower amount of surface area and offer a fairly fast glide, though stopping power is somewhat lacking. These are pretty good feeling feet for tracking and micro adjustments, however flicking may be a bit more difficult on faster mouse pads.
It is worth noting that the mouse doesn't really feel too fast on my worn medium speed pad, so your mileage may vary with different pads. Also, the mouse has gained a decent bit of stopping power as it's gotten more worn in, but it still has quite a bit less than other mice. The grip tape that comes with this mouse is fine for covering up the holes on the sides, however, don't put it on the buttons expecting it to aid in drag clicking. For whatever reason, on specifically the Hati M wireless, G-Wolf strays from their usual good grippy grip tape to this very slick quote-unquote grip tape, which in fact is less grippy by a considerable degree than the coating of this mouse without any tape. Luckily, that coating on the mouse is fairly grippy in the first place, so you might not even need tape to drag click on the buttons.
I find the Hati M wireless to be solid for jitter clicking. The light buttons make jittering pretty easy, and the post travel doesn't really bother me. I can hit 13 to 15 CPS on this mouse, which is similar to what I get on most others.
The Hati M features adjustable debounce set to 0 milliseconds, so it's capable of hitting high CPS butterflies, upwards of 20 CPS. I found this mouse to be pretty comfortable while butterfly PvPing, although I don't get quite as high of CPS while PvPing on this mouse. I get anywhere from 14 to 18 generally, with sometimes hitting above 20. But I do find the shape to be extremely comfortable to aim with, and I do perform quite well while butterfly PvPing with it.
For drag clicking, the Hati M is solid. I can hit over 40 CPS long dragging and 15 to 18 CPS short dragging, which is more than enough to god bridge, reduce, and extend. The coating on this mouse isn't bad for drag clicking, but I could see people needing to buy tape to drag click. As mentioned before, the grip tape that comes with this mouse is just not grippy at all. The Hati M wireless performs well in various aspects of Minecraft, but really falls short in a lot of other ways.
I want to like this mouse. It's light, it's wireless, it has adjustable debounce, and can drag click, and it has a really good shape. However, I just can't justify getting this mouse. From shoddy battery life to poor construction and absolutely abysmal side buttons, this mouse just doesn't offer enough for what it is. But if you really like the shape and need adjustable debounce, I'm not telling you not to buy this mouse, just that you won't be getting a great deal for what it is.
As for value, the Hati M wireless is currently $99 on Amazon, and at that price point, just please don't buy it. Unless you are in need of a Superlight Clone that can double click, it just does not have good value. Mice like the HyperX Pulsar Haste wireless, Vancer Gretxa, Pulsar Xlite V2, Glorious wireless mice, and Pwnage mice all offer similar performance in Minecraft and FPS, as well as better specs and build quality for $10 to $40 less.
G-Wolves is one of the few companies that pushes for innovation in the gaming mouse market. Some of their upcoming releases will be the lightest wireless gaming mice on the market. The Hati M wireless, however, is not a step forward but a step back. We just cannot recommend this mouse in 2022.